I feel like so many wedding photographers stress about I don't have enough Instagram followers, my post doesn't have a lot of likes, I don't get a lot of views in my reels, blah, 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 blah. You don't realize that Instagram might not be your number one lead generation, meaning it might not be bringing new couples to you, but it might be your number one conversion factor, which is getting couples that inquire to book with you. It might be your number one way of doing that, and I'm going to talk about that and explain why and what I mean in today's video. So you don't need a lot of Instagram followers. You don't need a lot of likes. You literally don't need all the bells and whistles to be part of your Instagram. I know that sounds crazy because we're wedding photographers and like all we do is Instagram, right? But you don't need all of that for Instagram to be an incredibly powerful tool in your wedding photography business. It can be so powerful in part of your sales strategy. So what I mean by that is if you use it right, which is if you ask couples for their Instagram in your contact form and then you follow them, they follow you, you somehow get them onto your Instagram page. It doesn't matter how many likes you have. It doesn't matter how they found you. It can be a great window into selling yourself as a wedding photographer and getting them to visualize what it would look like to work with you. So how I typically do this is in my show it contact form that I use for my business, I have a little blurb in there that says Instagram. And then when a couple inquires with me, I go onto their Instagram, I give them a follow, I like one of their posts, or I request to follow them. And then I also have a highlight on my Instagram profile that says start here. So that when people do come to my Instagram, they can just click that. And I have a really good video of myself saying hi, introducing myself, introducing what I do. And then I have lots of samples of my Instagram, of my work just scattered throughout my Instagram. Hi guys, I'm Samia. I'm a wedding and portrait photographer based out of Washington, D.C. So if you're new here, welcome to my Instagram. I'm so glad you're here. This is a lot of my portfolio. Right now I'm booking 2022 and 2023 weddings totally worldwide. You can check out more of my portfolio and fill out a form for a time for us to chat right in the link here, and I look forward to talking to you. It's a great way to make an introduction to a couple in a social way. I feel like so many times people treat your Instagram feed as your official wedding portfolio, and that's not really keeping social media social. So social media is not your official wedding portfolio. If you go into my website and you click portfolio, that is my best work. That's what I want to showcase. This is my perfectly curated portfolio. The power in Instagram is that it's not perfect. It's real life. It's a little bit messy. That's when it's powerful. It's a little bit personal. It's sharing things that are more like a story. It's social media and it's keeping it social. So just because you run a business doesn't mean that your Instagram cannot be social. And also because it's social, I feel like a lot of us wedding vendors don't realize that social media and connecting with people on there is really a two-way relationship. So we always just expect a lot of likes, like we're the only person on Instagram. And think about how many times do you like other people's photos? So if you think about Instagram as a two-way relationship with your clients, I'm always commenting, liking their posts. I'm getting excited about their posts for them to get excited about my posts. So you kind of get out what you put in. And I think that's something that is not really, it's not viewed that way. It's viewed as you want to be the most famous person on Instagram. Everybody just flocks to you. You just do all this stuff. But in reality, when it comes to clients and serving them really well, getting on a two-way relationship, liking their posts, keeping up with their stories, all of that is really powerful. And there's a really easy way to do that. So like I said, when a wedding inquiry comes in, I do follow them. That's in the inquiry stage. I hope they click the start here. If they're inquiring about a certain wedding, I might share one of those weddings on my story saying, oh, can't wait to be back here, because I know they might be coming to my Instagram. So there's ways to do that. But then also, once they book, you can save Instagram posts into a folder within your account. So what I do is I have folders within my account called 2024 clients or 2025 clients, and I actually save their posts, one post from each client into that folder, and then I just schedule 10 minutes a week to go onto Instagram, open that folder, and then go to each one of my clients' profiles and then just give a quick like to the recent post or say, hey, yay, just to like keep up with them and keep in contact with them and keep that relationship going. And you can totally do the same thing for wedding planners or other wedding vendors. I have lots of folders on there that I do that with, and it's really helpful to like organize you keeping up with all these relationships in kind of an organized way, and that you don't have to just always be scrolling and like just be in this constant hamster wheel of like trying to like build all these relationships. It also just really helps you to follow these couples on Instagram, ideally before you get on a consultation call, because you can actually learn a lot about people and like their style and their taste without being creepy. You can kind of be like, okay, I kind of am getting their vibe, I'm kind of getting what they like, so that on the call you know at least what they look like, but also just a little bit about their taste. And like maybe they've traveled somewhere recently. You can say, hey, have you guys traveled anywhere? I know that sounds very stalker-ish, but it's not. It's part of getting to know your couples and just kind of driving that conversation before the consultation call. You guys know I talk about consultation calls like so much on this channel. I have my signature course, Consultations That Convert, which is about how to get wedding clients that inquire with you to book you as a wedding photographer through consultation calls. So all that information is on the channel, down in the description below. But I feel like a really big part of that course and like what I go into is kind of this stuff, those little things that you can do to just plant seeds in building that bigger relationship with them. And just showing genuine interest in getting to know people. And I think it's really powerful to get on Instagram and follow your clients or potential clients and show some excitement about their engagement. One thing that does come up when I talk about conversion and getting wedding clients to book is, how do you know if something is working? So I tell all wedding photographers that I mentor, please track your inquiries. So I actually use a Google Sheet and I track every single inquiry that comes in, and I track, at the end, whether they were green, yellow, or red, whether they booked, they ghosted, or they did not book, and that really helps me know my conversion rates. So if you do that for 2 to 3 months and then you implement a new strategy, you can see your conversion rate go up. And I would say anything above 25% conversion is pretty good. Anything above 40% is outstanding, and anything under 15%, maybe we could do something to boost your conversion rates. I talk about all of this more in the course, with the exception that the luxury market tends to be a lower conversion rate in general. I think the average conversion in the luxury market is about 15%, just because the wedding planners tend to refer multiple vendors for each wedding, so you may not convert quite as well at a certain price point. So that is something to keep in mind if you are booking in a little bit more of a luxury market. That I think the percentage drops about 8% there in conversion, and just volume of increase as well. So if you're getting people onto your Instagram, what is the best type of content you can possibly have, right? You want to have something that connects them. The best kind of content I think you can have is emotional content. And it doesn't mean that you have to share your whole life story, or that you have to share about your mental health. That does not mean you have to share any topics that you are not interested in talking about. What it means is curating your brand and your business in a way that there are topics that you are talking about that drive emotion. So for me in my business, there are certain things that I have chosen. There's about 5 or 6 things that I would like to share with the world about myself. And I use that in my content marketing strategy. For example, I grew up in an Italian restaurant. That is something that's personal to me, that is true, that I like talking about, and I'm comfortable talking about that with perfect strangers on the internet and clients. So that is something that I've chosen as a repeat storyline that I weave into my business. There's also things like the fact that I'm Middle Eastern, so I enjoy talking about that also because it's part of my culture. Those are things that I like talking about. I don't like talking about my family, my sibling, my marriage. Those are things that I'm not going to talk about. So there are ways to still be in control and strategic about the information that you share and still make a strong personal connection. So if you haven't thought about this, I would think about 4 or 5 content buckets or pillar points that you're comfortable talking about. that's more than like, my favorite color is yellow. Something that you would say that other person would feel something, or something that would connect you. So there's a really great book. It's called Building a Story Brand, that goes into this really, really in depth. I'm not going to get too much into it, but something that's not just like a random fact about you, something that really tells a story, because that's how you connect with people online. The reason this is so powerful is because if couples have already inquired with you, they've already seen your portfolio. They've already like your work. They don't need a perfectly curated Instagram feed. They're already there. They need connection. That is step 2. So that's why this is so powerful in conversion. So if you're on Instagram and you're feeling like, I'm just not getting a lot of followers, don't lose sight of the power of Instagram and how its purpose can really be something else. It can really be really powerful in conversion. And I hope this was really helpful. I'm going to talk more about gaining trust next week with potential clients, which is kind of similar, but a little more in depth about that emotion piece. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week on YouTube. Thanks for watching.